Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. Um, just having a quick look at the Dow last night. I think it was actually at one stage. I think that it was down about sort of 100 points, and you can see here it was, and it worked its way up pretty well towards the end of the day's trading, and actually looks. I still think there's a chance that we can get through that sort of 20,000 level. It is important. I don't really want to be failing to do that. It is going to be a little bit negative, and I think you will see a bit of a sell-off possibly. If that doesn't happen, at least maybe come back here to that little blue line, that sort of 19,436. But at the moment, we've got a chance. If we can get through that 20,000, it will be very, very bullish for next week. And I think our market's really sort of today, if you can see, it's really hardly moved. It's really just been holding into a trading pattern, really. I mean, it opened today at 5,753 and closed at 5,755. So it's just hardly moved. So I think it's just waiting to get some sort of a better lead from Wall Street. Um, Meanwhile, actually, a sort of basically the stocks we're trending at the moment trend is very similar to what we're talking about, just basically in a little bit of a holding pattern. But what did carry on doing very, very well are those gold stocks. So again, evolution, where you can see it's now sort of poked its head above the trend line on both the weekly chart, and certainly, definitely, those gold stocks are starting to look a lot, lot better. And you can see that even with one of our favorite little gold plays, Moy. This is a company that we've done exceptionally well with over there. I think Moy is actually a fantastic story, and you know they they make a lot of money. The company is a little bit sort of I think sold down on the fact that mine life isn't what people believe it isn't as long as what it's sort of officially stated, but they are finding gold everywhere, and we do believe as this mine life grows, I think Moy could be a great as gold goes up, Moy is going to be a great, great story. As you know, with Equity Story, we bought this one originally at 11 cents, and generally speaking, just holding profits. But I certainly like the look of the chart and the way it's moving at the moment. And if gold can hold up, I think it's what 25. This could have a 30 in front of it. It's certainly looking very, very good. Um, what I would like to say, just point out a few stocks. I think ones that first of all, I'll just say NUH. Obviously, it's one of our sort of 10 baggers. It just did enough for me. It's held above. I think if it come back to that 11 and a half, it would have been a bit on sort of would have been a resistance. It has held through that. I think it's setting itself up for quite a good week next week. So hopefully, if they can time this right, NUH, a few good announcements, this could certainly start having a more sort of aggressive move upwards. So it's done enough for me this week to obviously hopefully hold the momentum. Uh, just a stock we bought. I mean, this one AJX we've already made 100% out of it, and we actually sold this at the right time because we really bought the story and we bought the hype. It went to $1. We sold it because we said, all right, you've had that big move up. The whole market likes you. Let's see the revenue, and they've struggled. You can see really for the last year and a half. The Alexium story hasn't really worked, but it's starting to get a bit of revenue now. It's started to prove to the markets that what it's capable of, and actually that's starting to look a little bit more bullish. So we got it back on the watch list. We are going to try and have a chat with the company to find out what's going on with their revenue, and this potentially could be. We could look at this being a 3-year growth story again. Again, it has been a good story for us in the past, and hopefully it will be again. I think Mobile Embrace is worth a mention again. I think we've been going on about this story for a while. Mobile Embrace, we know the company pretty well. Had this ridiculous sell-off, and this is now, now with these contrarian stocks that we're putting out, this is exactly the sort of company we're going to be looking at in the future of taking advantage of this sort of overreaction by the markets. And as you remember, Mobile Embrace got sold off roughly 50% because 6% of their revenue was affected. Absolutely ridiculous, and it's coming back pretty strongly now. So it's sort of from that 12 cents, it's back up to 17.5 cents. And certainly you look at this and you think that 20 20 cents would be on the cards, or maybe even up back up to that sort of 24 cents. Again, you know, this is when this fell. You know, this was a good call, advising people to obviously try and get back into this stock. Another company, funny enough, that's been quite of late is Yowie, and again it's sort of come down, held that support, and again starting to work its way up. And I think you can see it a little bit clearer on that sort of long-term chart. Certainly starting to look a little bit more bullish. So we're really looking forward to the next earnings announcement and sales coming out of Yowie, and we are obviously believers in the company and you know, the chocolates that they're selling around the States. What I thought I'd just have a quick look at to do tonight to see how those weekly buy and sell signals did. And you know, week in, week out, these weekly buy and sell signals tend to do pretty well. And as you can see this week, let's have a look. We're looking for sort of short-term momentum basically with these signals. So you know, if you're interested in going in and trying to make a quick buck, you know, and often some of these will overlap with our official calls. But Aristocrat did very well. It opened the week at 15.50 and went as high as 16.23. So it nicely went through that buy signal. So did Gud, actually open the week at 10.50 and went as high as 10.83. So I think that's excellent. Corporate Travel, one we're trending at the moment, opened the week at 18.33. Went as high as 18.79 and then sort of had that little pullback. But they did initially go beautifully through the buy signal. I think Corporate Travel will go on with it next week. Again with MLD, opened the week at 170, went as high as 179, so again they had a good movement. TNE really did nothing. It sort of opened the week at 570, closed lower, but was as high as 575. And again SIP, you know, trading very nice, actually looking even better, and opened the week at 129 and closed at 127, but went as high as 131. But really sort of trading a little bit sort of sideways. But generally speaking, all those weekly buy and sell signals are looking still very, very bullish, and I think over the next few weeks we'll carry on going up with some momentum. As the bullish stocks again did very well. I think you know, things like obviously GNC, wow, just had a great move up, and you know, did very, very well. NAB again, you know, it's one of the banks, you know, it was fantastic. JB Hi-Fi moving nicely. You know, BHP looking great. I mean, we've got it on that short-term chart. So generally speaking, although not amazing, the bullish signals have held their own. I think they're really set up to keep on moving up over the next few weeks, as long as obviously the general market holds up. We've really basically sort of excited. I think the whole Trump thing has given a real buzz to the market. Hopefully this momentum can keep continuing. At the moment, you know, Equity Story, we get a lot of people saying to us every day, Dave, you know, where do you think this market's going? And we are, I think, over the medium term, I think that the Trump story will be great. Meanwhile, you know what we do, we're just going to follow these charts. We're going to follow the money, we'll follow the charts. And I think you know, you go on CNBC and half the world's leading experts are telling you it's going up, the other half are telling you it's going down. I think in all honesty, no one really knows. But I think if we follow the charts and follow the money, we should do pretty well. Anyway, I'd like to thank you for listening to Equity Story, and have a good night. Good night.